Well, hello, friends. Friends of hydration, friends of healthy, wealthy, wise living. Yeah, it's me, E. Giuliano. It's 27th of May. Welcome. Hello, pirates. Hello, friends of pirate and price charts, friends of crypto, oof, friends of Komodo platform, and all things holy and unholy. Today, we're looking at pirate chain price charts, R USDT and R BTC. Yeah, we're gonna just make a bit of comparisons right now. Bitcoin is at a 39,500 level. I think what the altcoins are waiting for right now is just confirmation that Bitcoin is stabilized. They don't necessarily care if it's gonna go up, although that will affect them, especially their BTC chart, the altcoin BTC chart. But they just want to make sure it's stabilizing. Then when they know it's stable, then they can play, but they just do not feel comfortable to play while they feel such instability and vulnerability to the Bitcoin price. So yeah, maybe you're watching this in 1.5x speed or 1.75x speed, but either way, whatever speed it takes you to hit that like button, do that. I'll give you a moment. Good, thank you. And write a comment while you're at it, anything that comes to mind. Maybe you want to share something that you're learning, or maybe you want to just give the cry of "R." Everything helps, and I really do appreciate all of you who are liking and commenting, and all of you who have subscribed. Thank you. And if you're watching and you're subscribed, amazing. If you're not subscribed and you're watching, well, then subscribe. I think there's some good value here for you, so I'll keep coming back for more. Now we're going to go into these price charts here. We've got the R USDT on the left and the R BTC on the right. Okay, what did I want to show you? A couple of ideas before we actually go into the charts. So I'm going to hide the tools. And what I want to show firstly is that much of the chart has been correlated to some degree or another. Like you even have the zigzag type of up thrust here, and we see that here as well. However, in this correction, we have definitely seen a difference in moves. Now, sure, the zigzag came and hit the 20-period average, The pattern has shaped up basically the same, but by the time we got here, okay, when we made a lower high in BTC terms, a higher high in dollar terms, lower high up here in dollar terms, a higher high up here in BTC terms, and then making this kind of zigzag, looks like a flat, looks like an impulse for the, oh no, we don't want to add those in, we just took them out, sorry, for the A, B, C type of a correction, possibly combined correction. Let's see here, maybe an A, B, C, but now this, this doesn't look as hot right here. This impulse here does not have the similar shape to this impulse. There's a peak missing here somewhere. If we're gonna say, let's say we have like a 1, 2, and then, okay, let me get into this for you. Let's say we have 1, 2 here, and I've taken a look, and it confirms, friends of NeoWave, Neely method, it confirms the 61.8% is kept intact. And so we continue. So that could be a 1, 2. And then we have, let's say, maybe a bit more of a poly wave as our 3 wave here. That's the one thought, okay? And then this could be the final 5th wave here, and then correcting down, okay? So this would be a complete impulse, potentially here. We have a complete impulse, a 5-wave impulse, and now we're in a corrective phase, and then we've potentially completed this. Although there's this part of me that is still skeptical, because maybe from here to here is the actual impulse. And it's similar with the BTC chart, in which case, then we would still be waiting for a 5th wave. Maybe the 5th wave would fail, and it would even be a higher low, compared to this previous low here of 23rd May. Maybe it would be a lower low, but not such a significant. See, this would be the extended and subdivided wave. It would be extended and subdivided. However, we could say that just these waves here could make the extended and subdivided third wave, and then this would be a fifth wave. However, okay, so that's where the thinking lies right now. This one definitely looks more complete compared to this one. This one, there's just something about it which doesn't feel the same, okay? It's missing something along the way here, because yes, this works as a one, all right? This works as a 1-2, keeping the 61.8% intact. This can work. See, then the question is this your 3? So is it that the BTC chart has a 1 and a 3, which are similar, and then the fifth wave is a massive extended wave? That is definitely possible, and I'm not saying unlikely, it's possibly the case. And look, that's how I'm counting it right now in that sense, because if I'm saying that this impulse is over and somehow we have a truncated zigzag here, then and in the larger pattern, and because it hasn't reached 61.8% of wave A internally from that whole C wave, so then that would be truncated because it is more than 38.2% of the A wave. Yeah, or the other possibility is this whole thing is a third wave, and well, either we're going to have a dump of a fifth, or maybe again it'll be some sort of failed fifth or whatever, right? That kind of idea, possible too. Although this move is not as strong, let's say, to the downside as the dollar move. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. That's where it stands at this time. The other thing is, if you look Bollinger Band wise, we've violated the Bollinger Band to the downside. We have not really violated it yet to the downside here. It's been sideways. As the days pass, I'm more and more convinced that we will be making some sort of downside move as BTC finds a new uptrend, if you know what I mean. And I think that's just what's building here. I could be wrong though, because this is just some energy to the crypto markets that is here, and it relates to altcoins, and it relates to their relationship to Bitcoin. And we, in terms of testing the previous altcoin Bitcoin dominance chart lows for the Bitcoin dominance, I don't see why it won't be tested again. So there is more potential for upside in the alts, but then again, like I'm saying, this whole cycle might be drawn out where we're watching this play out over the next year or two still, all right, or year and 18 months, whatever, So those are my thoughts right here in regards to this. I'm not comfortable with this because I'm not sure. We'll have to wait for some sort of retracement. Now, that's the next thing I'm going to say, is that in terms of if this is a corrective pattern, we'll know that we're completing it. At least there are two possibilities according to the Neely method. One, or two stages, I should say. One is when we're going to break the downtrend line faster than the whole C wave took, or at least in the same amount of time. And I have that sketched out. And then the other thing would be to retrace actually a certain percentage of the whole move within that same amount of time. And that percentage would be retracing the whole C wave within the same amount of time that it took or less to create. Okay, so that we'll take a look at those scenarios. And it definitely seems like that is more possible on the dollar chart. And it would make sense. The dollar chart is much more like a Bitcoin chart, but in the altcoin form, if you know what I mean. Sometimes that's just how it behaves. And then other times it behaves much more independently, like it did here. When Pirate Chain was finding its new level, it was just a completely independent entity, and the dollar chart and the BTC chart matched because they were together finding their new position. Okay, let's move into some of those technicals then. So we're looking here at this chart, and it's going to get a bit messy. Okay, we're seeing a potential cross here. So I don't think we're out of this yet, but I do think in terms of like the overall thing, I don't think we're running off to the races yet. And that's part of it's going to play with the previous channel. I want to point with my fingers so badly. Okay, forget it, I'm doing it. Here we go. I don't mean I'm pointing it with my fingers, I'm showing it. This channel that we had the first time, I think that if this whole thing is a combined impulse, so if this previous impulse correction is related to this impulse correction that we're currently in, then, and we're going to have another, then this channel will at some point come into play. This channel will come into play, and that's not really at this height of price. That's not really until the August timeframe. All right, and really not getting through it until like September, and that could actually make a lot of sense. That could definitely make a lot of sense. This is the dollar chart though, so I don't know if we're going to get all the way there. And maybe also this impulse move is not related to this one. Maybe this is just something different, and then finally it has found a new place, and this is its own thing here. They may or may not be related. Okay, and so until we know, then we don't know. And really, I'm definitely not one of knowledge. So friends of knowledge who have knowledge or who know how to acquire it, please do share. Now, what did I want to get into a little bit more closely? Okay, this retracement is, I just wanted to retrace the move, the recent move we had. Okay, let's get rid of some of this here. Let's do this for you. Boom. Bye, Ichimoku. Friends of Ichimoku, no worries. Still love you. Same thing, you know, John Bollinger friends, stick around. You're still here. Good. Let's even get rid of these for now. We're really not concerned with lagging indicators potentially right now, although I do want to give us a little quick vision here. Okay, we are negative on that daily MACD. Things will be turning around, but does it mean they're going back up here? Not necessarily, and more likely going to have some sort of flattening out period. And here's July. Okay, is that fair to you? That seems fair to me. Okay, June might get a bit boring. Stick around. So what am I saying here? I wanted to check the difference between the Bitcoin retracement, like our BTC retracement and our USDT. The our USDT retracement from this move, okay, from the low to the high, is not even 38%. So that shows something interesting right there to me, compared to the BTC, which, when you look at it, is more than 38%. In fact, it's going to be, when I did it, is just crossing the 50% threshold. So 50% was just about here, okay? So it's just crossing the 50% threshold, and we can look at that after if it comes into play, but I think that's good enough for you right now. Yeah, so the other thing, okay, let's just dive right in here. Let's put on our goggles. So here's that, there's that. Okay, let's keep working with retracements. I just want to show that in terms of retracing the whole move of C, let's say this is a C. So far, our retracement is not at the 38% level. Okay, good. So that's interesting. And then the other thing I just wanted to verify here with you is that in terms of the C wave compared to the A wave, we are going to do, an extension. You see this trend-based fib extension, and we're going to go the A wave to the B wave and the C wave. Now, none of this is advice or anything like that, but what just happened? Yeah, so we are, it's not quite at the 68% though. So is it really complete? Maybe it's considered a truncated. I mean, at this point, it's formality. In my mind, it's basically there. So what do I know, right? But maybe it's not enough there and it needs to continue going further. Fine, I can accept that too. Maybe it's just a giant third wave right here, okay, with subdivisions. It's an extended wave and we still have a fifth. Okay, that makes sense too. That's why right now, when we look at the candlesticks, when we look at the candlesticks, we see that it's still in a very indecisive position right now. We had a decisive rebound, but now it's like, okay, well, what is actually happening here? We're stuck between a purple and a gray place. Now, back to the line chart, and I wanted to mention as well, okay, so for a normal zigzag, we would have to pass through the 61.8%, or maybe bounce on it. Friends of Mealy Wave, you let us know the exactitude of that. then again, potentially I'm not even using the proper price points. So all of this is just a rough estimation, definitely not pro, but hopefully we're learning something and getting the basic ideas that we need. And one of those ideas is, okay, what would it take for this to be a completed thing? Well, we could know that we're completed if we break the 0 to B trend line, right? Starting there, to there, to there, to there, and then we break it, this trend line created by the 0 to B, in at least the same amount of time it took to create the C wave from point to point, which in this case is showing 12 bars, boom, okay, which is 12 days. So that would mean that we would have to break this downtrending line within these 12 days, which would bring us to about 4th June. The other stipulation to really know that this thing is not only over, but probably moving into a next situation, next phase, especially if this is a bigger impulse happening, would be to retrace this whole C wave move within this time frame as well, which would be by 4th of June. Now, so you see the implication there, right? The implication being that for the first thing to happen doesn't really need much. You know, it could basically go sideways till the 4th of June and you've technically completed that. However, to do the second stipulation is not so simple and would require, from where we are now, what kind of a move? What kind of a move? From where we are now, roughly here, which is at about $4.15, would take 80% move. Are we going 80% roughly? Which would mean a move from the low of over 100%. That's pretty wild, my friends. That is crypto volatility for you. Anyway, that's if that happens. Okay, my bet is that it's probably not going to happen. But hey, doesn't matter. None of this is advice. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, I would say if it is going to happen, it's definitely going to happen on the dollar chart compared to the BTC chart. If I'm going to say it's not going to happen, I'm more so going to say that it's not going to happen on the BTC chart. I can see it happening on the dollar chart. However, hey, let's say somehow the market gains confidence that BTC is settled and flat and not going anywhere, and then all of a sudden altcoins decide to run like 130%, or no, well, no, that would be from here, another 80% or 90% from here. Okay, sure, in 10 days. I mean, that is altcoin type of speed. That is altcoin type of movements. It doesn't take more than a week or two to make 100% sometimes. So I can see that. It's possible. It's definitely possible, but I don't know. I'm not entirely clear. Okay, so that's those ideas, right? That's like the idea of retracing and clearing up and basically completing the move, the corrective move. Now, the other thing I wanted to show is this here. So in BTC, in our BTC, we're about 50% retrace. Here, we're not even 38% retrace. Also, if you're noticing, the 25th of May has a low, and here on the 27th, I mean, it's still intraday, so nothing is confirmed, but we look a little bit higher. Whereas in the BTC chart already intraday, it's a bit lower. Okay, we'll take a look at that in a second. You can see that. You see how this point here is lower than this 25th May point over here. See that right here? And in fact, here, let me enable those drawing tools and you'll see, you see how this point is now at the 50% line. Sorry for all the chaos and confusion, but you see that, right? Okay. So now what we're going to look at is what type of shape it's making then. You know, this one is retracing more. Okay. Oh, let me just show you here those dates, and then I'll get rid of that. That way you can see what it looks like on this chart. I also wanted to show you the difference in the rebound. So in the BTC price, it roughly only rebounded 20%. In the dollar price, it rebounded about 33 or 35% from low to high in that mono wave. So I'm telling you about these differences that are happening, and we're looking at them, and so it's interesting. I hope you're finding some value in this, because I mean, I don't know anybody else who's really looking at pirate charts like this. So good. I'm glad you're here to watch, and I'm glad that I'm here to do this for us. Now, what I wanted to say is here we're creating a different shape than, and let's just look at the candles for a moment here. Yeah, we see this candle is not the same kind of sideways as this candle. Anyway, but that's fine. Okay, so we're creating more of a downward pattern, channeling type of a pattern. You could argue, if you're using the wicks, that we are still triangulating, but on the line chart that we've been using so far, not really. Whereas, oh, and in terms of the timing of the days and the B to D trend line, sorry, the 0 to B trend line, B to D trend line would be in a triangle probably. Yeah, see, and look, I mean, if this is B right here, it just doesn't make sense the same way. Like if we're starting our C wave right here, then this would be the B 0 to B trend line. And then we've broken it, we've come back in, we've broken it now. So what does that mean? Have we broken it? This chart is weird. This chart is weird, which means what if this is not in play the same way? I don't know. However, maybe this is the beginning of that C wave right here. Okay, if this is the beginning of the C wave, let's just verify that this goes, whoops. Let's just verify that it goes from here to here. Yeah, so it doesn't retrace 61%. So that means it would be a valid wave from here, wave 1, 2, okay? You see that? This kind of spot right here, wave 1, 2, not even 61%. Therefore, we could say fine. So maybe for this chart, the C wave starts here. I can live with that too. So let's say we started here. We have a 1, 2, and then we have this zigzagish move. Is that just completing? Is this a 3, 4, and then a 5? Okay, and maybe not. We're still in a place of uncertainty, although we are seeming to cross it, but we're crossing it downwards. It's just, where are we right now? We don't know. In the RBTC, we are so confused. We have strength and weakness. It is just a weird position right now, but I'm enjoying watching it play out. I hope you are too. So that was that. So remember, we retraced about 20-ish% in the 20s. And then here on the dollar, the RUSDT chart, this retracement mono wave is actually 30-some%. You see that? Roughly 34, 35, whatever. And here we have that higher low compared to this low. And what does that mean? It means here we are forming more of, let's give it that white color again, bright light. So that's where we are right now with that, right? So maybe that can do. That would be interesting. We are, I mean, this is not a proper triangle. This is not a proper triangle, okay? But it will tell us. It will tell us what's happened. Like, are we just going to break it sideways? Yeah, then we're a bit more sideways. Are we going to go up? Are we going to go down? But either way, we're breaking this. So this triangle is meaningless right now. We're breaking it. Let's just see where we go. Okay. Good. Well, that's about it. I wanted to, yeah, I just wanted to bring those thoughts up to you, and I hope it's of value. But other than that, that's it. That's where we stand right now. Okay. I don't have much else to say. I hope you're doing well, keeping hydrated, moving around, getting some sun, maybe some night sky, moon reflection action. Yeah, good times and bad times. I mean, just like the charts are a representation of all of life, right? Up and down. Sometimes we trend up and trend down, and even in the trends, there's the ups and the downs, and you know, most of them are pretty meaningless overall. but they do exist, and we participate in them all along the way. So I thank you for being here. Look forward to the next one. Love, peace, happiness. Take care of yourselves and each other. Goodbye.